get started, and people can join and jump in as they will. But just so you all know, this is being recorded, so we can share it later. But as I said, when some of you joined, happy International Day of the Girl. It's obviously a really big day for us at Nurturing Minds, since we're very much and completely focused on girls, especially adolescent girls in Tanzania. So as some of you know, we have been doing this multi-city tour with our two fabulous graduates. Deborah, I'm just going to quickly show you, they can say hi. Deborah Sude and Zainabu Komba. And so you'll get to hear from them in a few minutes. I know they're the main event, and I know some of you have, we've seen you along the way in our travels, but many of you we won't get an opportunity to see. We have literally been from New Hampshire all the way down to Florida so far, and we are headed out to California and then Philadelphia to wrap up our trip. And these young women have been ambassadors for SEGA, and they've been sharing their stories. But we also thought it was a great opportunity to give you all an update. And I know some of you, many board members here already know a lot of this, but bear with me. We're going to share some slides, and then we'll hear from each of the young women. And then I encourage you to ask questions. You can either type it in the chat, or you can raise your hand. And if you're not muted, Matt will unmute you, and you can just, share it live, since we're a smaller group. But anyway, Matt, why don't we jump in? Hi, Ozo. Anybody else I haven't said hi to? We're always excited about International Day of the Girl, and it's just an opportunity to share a little bit more about us. So Nurturing Minds and SEGA are really partners. This is our 15th year of operation. We have been providing holistic quality education to at-risk girls for 15 years now. So next slide. And it's really about providing, as I said, quality education, life skills, entrepreneurship, skills as well, to help bright at-risk girls in Tanzania become leaders in their communities. We do this with SEGA by providing leadership skills, entrepreneurship, career development, and environmental care. And we have a shared vision to create a financially self-sustaining model school for educating bright Tanzanian girls. Next slide. So why girls? Many of you know that, if a girl has a high school degree, like a degree from SEGA, she will have nearly half as many children. She's 10 times less likely to become pregnant as a teen. Her earning potential, even just with a high school degree, is 7 times greater or more. And we all know that investing in girls and women, often women will then invest mainly back into their families, into healthcare and education. One thing we have in the past spoken less about is the connection between girls' education and the positive impact it has on climate change. So resilience.org ranks educating girls as an unrecognized but more effective climate solution than electric cars, solar, and wind power. Next slide. And so this is just a little thing to show really how that works even more so at SEGA, where we say they're living, learning, and leading sustainably. We do have an environmentally sustainable campus that is run on solar, has a rainwater catchment system, and has organic gardens. The girls learn all about organic gardening, and they learn about recycling and also life skills, an important piece of this, which includes reproductive health, and then a lot of leadership skills as well. And that ties in with our new STEM program as well. And so I don't know if many of you have heard of Project Drawdown, but educating girls is ranked number 6 of the top 100 best things you can do to help decrease greenhouse gases. So it is definitely recognized as a very important solution to climate change. Next slide. I'd just like to highlight the Tanzanian context in terms of strong female leadership. Some of you may know that Tanzania has its first female president, Samia Suluhu Hassan. The Tanzanian ambassador to the United States, Elsie Kansa, is a woman, and she's been a good friend to Nurturing Minds as well. And then really at SEGA, from the top down, from the board chair to the director to the headmistress, and all of the department heads are all women at SEGA. Next slide. And SEGA, people often think about SEGA as the SEGA Girls School, but SEGA, the nonprofit organization with Nurturing Minds, really runs 4 programs and serves over 2,500 girls across the country now. The SEGA Girls School is a big part of that. They also run career development and continuing education scholarship program, the Modern Girl Community Outreach Program, and a pilot program, the Girls Business Development Program. Next slide. So really at SEGA, at the SEGA Girls School that now has 287 students on its campus, we really emphasize a holistic education, which starts with quality academics, but has life skills and leadership skills incorporated, entrepreneurship, environmental sustainability, and these 2 great programs that involve a lot of volunteers, which some of you have already been a part of, that includes English fluency and our new STEM program. Next slide. These are just, I was there in July, so some of my photos from the volunteers and the students. Next slide. And starting in January this past year, SEGA admitted 3 students with spina bifida who are in wheelchairs. So we really are committed to providing inclusive education. I think that these 3 young women have just been a great asset and have been really well incorporated into the school and are helping the school thrive. Next slide. Career development and scholarships for higher education is the second program that SEGA runs. We currently support 200 scholars, graduates, after they leave SEGA a year. 99 to 100% of SEGA graduates go on to some form of higher education. And this year, 75% are going on to university. That's compared to 3% nationally. There's different pathways you can take as a graduate, including vocational education, certificates and diplomas, and things like nursing and accounting and teaching. And then if the kids do very well academically, they go on to A-levels and then on to university, like our 2 graduates here today. SEGA works hard to try to connect them with internships and also brings them back to campus for additional soft skills and career guidance on things like interview skills and creating resumes. Next slide. This is also from this past July when I was there. They had a Career Inspiration Day where they had brought in professionals from Dar es Salaam. That's the top picture. There were women from banks and from human resource organizations and a professor and a woman in agribusiness. And the 3 women in uniform on the left are pilots. The middle woman is a fighter pilot, and the other 2 are helicopter pilots. And then we also have a new partnership with Mikumi Veta, which is a vocational school. And they came in and from all of their different departments to share different career options if you do a degree there, which could include electrical or construction, tourism, cake baking, secretarial, things like that. Next slide. These are from the tourism tent where kids were, I just thought it's too cute. I had to share that. And next slide. The third program that SEGA runs is our Modern Girl Community Outreach Program. This is a scalable program we've been running for the past 6-7 years, and it is currently reaching between 1,800 to 2,000 girls in 28 communities across the country. So it was the way in which we brought the life skills program. It's all about reproductive health and communication skills and human rights out into the community. So the girls at SEGA learn those skills over the time they're there. Then they become mentors and they bring that and teach girls ages 10 through 22 those same skills in their community. They also teach financial literacy and some small business development. And they added in solar education this past year as well. And we are really aiming to try to reduce teen pregnancy and early marriage through this program. After the girls graduate, it's about a year-long program. They can join the Empowered Girls Network, which currently has over 900 graduates from the program in that, so that they can continue to meet as they wish. And there's, I think it's just less programming, maybe doing a couple things together a year. Next slide. And as I mentioned, this is a pilot program, the Girls Business Development Program. There's just about 30 women in it right now. Some of them are SEGA graduates and some of them are graduates from the Modern Girl program. This is to increase their business skills and also to provide small revolving loans. So we hope that this will also scale over time. Next slide. As I mentioned in the beginning, we do have a joint vision of becoming financially sustainable over time. And so we do that in several ways. So we can generate income through our visitor house. When people go and volunteer or visit, they pay to stay at the lodge, and the profits from that go back into the running cost of the school. We do have some paying students, and we are in about our 7th year of our endowment campaign, Putting the Future in Her Hands, where we've raised $7.5 million in gifts and pledges toward our $10 million goal. When all of those funds are in, it will provide about half of the running costs of the SEGA Girls School. Next slide. And these are just a few things on our horizon. So many of you know, but we had 4 large grants over 10 years, which helped us from USAID, which helped us to build our campus. But we hadn't gotten a grant from them in over 5 years. And just a couple of weeks ago, we learned that we are receiving our 5th grant from USAID ASHA, American Schools and Hospitals Abroad. It's about $476,000, which will enable us to build a new biology lab, increase campus security, have a new dormitory, and also create a maker space, which will allow us to have things like art and music and 3D printing on our campus. We are going to be doing an evaluation of the Modern Girl program starting later this month. And we have growing partnerships with schools like Babson, who's helping with entrepreneurship on campus, and increased university scholarships and placement to places like Ashesi University, which is in Ghana and in the top 10 universities, ranked in the top 10 universities on the continent, which you'll hear more about in a little bit. And YouGo is also partnering with us on university scholarships. And we are trying to increase our partnerships with companies and healthcare facilities and nonprofits for internship placement and job placement as well. I think there's one more slide. And these are just different ways that you all can get involved. So I don't know if I should stop and see if there's any questions on that before, on any of this, before we move into you all hearing from our graduates. No. Okay.
It's a great update.
Okay. Thank you, Lori.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Okay, well, I'm going to turn it over first to Deborah Suday then. Deborah is one of our fabulous 2020 graduates who's about to head to university. And I just mentioned Ashesi University. We have been talking about having a student get into Ashesi University for about 10 years. And Deborah is literally the first Tanzanian to be admitted to Ashesi. As I said, it is considered a top 10 university on the continent. So we're very proud. There's also one other student who has gotten in, named Esther. So they'll be going together. And so Deborah is going to share her journey with you. And then you'll hear from Zainabu. It's Deborah today. Move it so you can have the whole screen.
Congratulations, Deborah.
Thank you. I'm too excited too. So, I am Deborah Stanley Sudai. I'm a graduate of 2020 from SEGA Girls Secondary School, and I'm the firstborn in my family. We have 4 kids in our family, and I live with both my parents. And my parents are farmers, just small-scale farmers. And so I will share with you my life story before joining SEGA and right after I joined at SEGA. So before I went to SEGA, I was just studying as a primary school student, and I got so many challenges when studying during my primary school because it was I had to walk for a long time, like from home to school and from school back home. And so it could take me so long time. And when I get back home, I would be so much tired. And when I get back home, I had to help for different domestic activities, as to help my family cleaning up the house, helping my mom to cook, cleaning up the dishes, and so many other different activities at home. But then I had to do my homeworks from school, and so it took me a long time. Like sometimes I could not get prepared myself for my exams, and so I had to do other things at home. And when I need to do my homework, I would be so tired. So it was a really challenge for me, and I could just try whenever I could. And I joined at SEGA Girls Secondary School, and when I was in class 6. In my life at SEGA, I have stayed at SEGA Girls for almost 5 years and a half. And during my life at SEGA, I have learned so many things because there are so many different programs at SEGA Girls. And through my academics, we had like computer program. This computer program could help us to get to know how to use the computer. So we had different typing competitions, and this could help us get to know more about using and programming the computer. So this was very helpful for us, especially in our academics. And sometimes we could go into the computer lab and search for different materials concerning our studies, which could be more helpful and help us whenever we do not understand or we need something to know more. And also during my time at SEGA, I was once a prefect, and I was academic prefect in Form 3, which I had to work and emphasize all the girls at SEGA Girls to speak more English, because in Tanzania, most of the people use the local language, which is Kiswahili. And so when people come to SEGA, they do not know how to speak English. So the best way to help them to do well in their studies is to speak more English, because most of our subjects in secondary schools, we take them in English except just one subject. So I had to make the girls speak more English because it was the only way they could pass and understand their exams. And this was really helpful because it could help us to understand more what we are learning from our teachers and what we need to answer in our exams. Also, the other thing I learned at SEGA is all about entrepreneurship. At SEGA, we have entrepreneurship program, whereby within this entrepreneurship, we have 3 sub-programs within it. And we had the shop business program. Within this shop business program, we had to learn about how to make different snacks, like the chapati and the donuts. And also we had to learn how to start and run our own business smoothly, just when we are at SEGA and when we have left from SEGA. So we also had the poultry program. This poultry program, we used to keep different types of chicken, taking care of them, feeding them, cleaning up the place where they just stay. And this could also help us to get to know, like, this kind of chicken needs to eat a certain type of food, and getting to know how to differentiate their foods and how to take care of them. We also have the sewing program. In this sewing program, we make different things. We have, like, we learn how to sew different types of clothes, like shirts, skirts, gowns, bags, and Maasai bed sheets. We also learn how to make table mats, and we make different chairs by using plastic bottles. So this could help us to get to know different things, like to get to know about different opportunities we have in our community when we have just left from SEGA. And also the other thing at SEGA is that we have the program of having environmental sustainability. Within this environmental sustainability, we have different gardens, almost 3 gardens now. And in these gardens, we keep the gardens and growing up different types of vegetables by using the organic manure. So we do not use artificial fertilizers. It's because we are using the leaves that fall from the trees to make the manure. So this could help us keep our environment clean, and the vegetables we grow up could be used by we students, so we could eat them. So they cook for us at school and we eat the vegetables, and some can be sold to other people. And also we have the life skills program at SEGA. Within this life skills, we have sports whereby people get to grow up their talents. And so we have different sports like football or soccer. We have netball, basketball, and volleyball. So this could help us to get to know where one can be. Like if you need to be in sports, we have learned also about entrepreneurship. And also this was helpful for me because when I just graduated from SEGA, I could make different snacks and different types of bracelets and sell them to different people. This could help me earn money, and this money I could also help my family. So right after I graduated from SEGA, I went for my advanced level education. We call it advanced level. And so it's just for 2 years. And I studied there for 2 years, but still SEGA was supporting me. It could support me by materials, and sometimes it could support me financially, because in material support, I had to get books and calculators from SEGA, which could help me in my studies, because in advance, we need to use different types of books. And also financially, I was supported by pocket money and sometimes school uniforms. So I still see how SEGA is important to me. And also, I have just graduated from my advanced level in May this year, and I'm looking forward to join my university studies in January, whereby I am going to study in a university called Ashes. It's in Ghana, and I'm going to study for mechanical engineering. And this is one of the top 10 universities in Africa. And I am the first Tanzanian to be selected or admitted to join that university. So I'm very glad to join my university, and I'm very glad that SEGA is supporting me, and Nurturing Minds is still with us to make sure that we get to reach our future bright and everything that we need to get in our life. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. That was great. Great overview.
Wow.
I know, it's pretty amazing, right?
It is just it is amazing.
Yeah. So we have another amazing young woman here, Zainabu Komba, who I've known since she was 12. She's became besties with my daughter Amelia, and she will share her story with you.
Hello, everyone.
They're all muted.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
So my name is Zainab Komba. I am post-graduated at SEGA Girls Secondary School. I graduated there 2020. In my family, I'm the firstborn, and I have my one sibling who is in 2nd grade right now. And I was raised by my grandmother from when I was in 3rd grade, because I lost my father when I was 12 years old, and my mom has the problem of mental health. I would like to share with you the journey to SEGA. At first, I was studying in my local school, which is in Morogoro. I was there from nursery school to class 6. And when I was at that local school, there are like two representatives from SEGA came to my school, and they were asking for the girls whose parents cannot afford to give them education. And I was among the girls, and we were like 10 girls. So they took us and we took examinations, which were like, they wanted us to reach the grade that they wanted. And I'm so happy I was selected. So we did an interview, which they were like looking how confident are we, like that. Then I joined at SEGA. So I started SEGA when I was in 7th grade. And when we are in pre-form, we have this program, which is English Fluence, which it helps us in making students knowing how to speak English, because most of us, when we come from our local schools, we can't speak English, because in Tanzania, the local language is Kiswahili. And when we are in elementary schools, we use Kiswahili. So when we reach there, it is very difficult for us to speak English. Therefore, English fluence helps students in the issue of speaking English, understanding, and answering the questions. So I was there at SEGA from standard 7 to Form 4. And when I reached to Form 3, I had different programs. The first one is mentorship program, because when you're at SEGA, when you enter Form 3, you have to be a mentor. So it's like in canteen, the place that we take our foods, there are like tables. Then you are given like 12 students who are like, they are younger to you. Like myself, I was in Form 3, then I was given like 12 students who were in Form 2 and Form 1, and others who were in pre-form. So I take them as my children. So therefore, in this mentorship helped me how to take care of the children, how to deal with my family, because when we are there, we are acting as family. And if they have problems, you have to help them. Like if they don't have soap, you have to help them. If they don't have anything, you have to help them if you have. So I act as mother. Therefore, this program really helped me. And I can see myself, I'm going to be a good mother in the future. Then also, when I was in Form 3, I was a once president of the school. While being a president, it helped me to get leadership skills, which I used them when I was at SEGA and when I left SEGA. So I used it in my community, like sharing different ideas in the meetings. Like in my community, they had different meetings. I could find myself, I share different ideas like those. Then these leadership skills helped me to build my confidence, so I can stand in front of people and speak to them without fearing of anything. Then at SEGA, we have also other programs like Modern Girl Community Program. This Modern Girl, I was once a Modern Girl. After I complete SEGA, I went to do this program because I wanted to give back to my community. And I joined this in the year of 2020 when I complete at SEGA. So in this program, it's just dealing with how to teach girls in the communities, like how to take care of themselves, how to avoid themselves from early pregnancies, to teach them different entrepreneurship issues, which were taught at SEGA, because most of the girls in the communities do not get this chance like which you get at SEGA. So we have to share with them what we got at SEGA and we bring to the community. and I was very happy to share with them these programs while I was in Modern Girl community, and it really helped them. And most of the girls in my communities are now educated through this Modern Girl community. So I'm very happy. Then we have career development program. This career development program helps in, like, it helps us in like knowing who do I want to be, and in the future, like, what do I want to do? Because most of us, when we are at school, we don't know which career should we take. For instance, I want to be a professor. Then at first, I was like, I can't be a professor. Therefore, when I got this education from this career development program, I was able now to say that I can be a professor. So at SEGA, we have different programs like those. Yeah. And I'm very grateful to be supported by SEGA. And right October, I'm going to join to my university in Dar es Salaam, the largest university in Tanzania. And I'm going to take Bachelor of Education because I want to be a professor. So I am the first PhD student at SEGA, and I'm very happy for that. Thank you for listening me.
Thank you, Zainabu. I know. Yay! I feel like we need to take off mute for that. So yeah, I mean, we are a small group. If you guys want to unmute, I don't know if you have, as long as you don't have background noise. If people have questions for the girls, or for me, or any comments you want to share, we would love to hear from you. Yeah, Tracy.
To both of the students, congratulations. It's exciting to meet you. I'm glad you've come to the United States. Yeah, and you have such beautiful stories to share. And I'm interested in when you returned to your village after SEGA and then again after your A level, you know, how did you feel in the community? It sounds like your leadership skills really help you to contribute to your community, but your community must be just amazed at what you've become and your new skills. And can you talk a little bit about that?
Girls, who would like to? What's up? Oh, you're okay. She wants me just to repeat the question. So Tracy, so this is Polly's. I'm sure you know. So she is asking, when you go back to your community, and now you're educated young women, girls, and so is the question sort of how are you viewed, or what is that like? They must be amazed. What is the? Is that
And
what
what sort of challenges do you find? Because I'm sure there are girls that are really jealous of what you've been able to experience at SEGA.
And
I think Laura wants to share. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
what challenges do you have?
Okay. It's very true that when people see we are educated, some of them do not like, but some of them do like because we help others in our community. And so, like when we were just done with our O levels and A levels, people could just ask us, like, which school have you studied in your O levels? And we could tell them, and they could just ask, like, I need to know about that school. So many people like to know about SEGA, and they like their kids or their children to get to study at SEGA. But some of them do have this kind of tendency, especially for boys. They would like to make us not reach our dreams because we are girls, and when a girl is educated, she really shines. And if one want to reach her dream, it is really hard sometimes because she meets a lot of challenges. So some of the challenges we have been coming through are like boys will just make you discouraged, like you cannot make it in life. And so sometimes we know the importance of education. As long as we have learned about life skills, we know who really we are, we know where we want to reach. and we know what is our aim in our lives. So as long as we have such kind of skills and education, we really focus on what we want to be and not listening to what other people want us to be. It's true that some people may advise you something that is very important for our lives, but not everybody who can advise you or can tell you the best thing in your life. Some of them just want to discourage us, and some of them do not want us to reach in our dreams. So those are the kind of challenges we face. And so some people are like jealousy. They don't want to talk to you because you have just been educated. So things like that. That's all.
And
Thank
I
you.
think it's not only about the leadership skills, it's also about the English speaking. You know, most of the girls do not speak English. So when we are in the communities, if we try to speak to them, then they see like we are majestical, or even in our advanced schools, if you try to speak to them, they are like, this girl, she thinks that she's like, she take control of the whole world. So they see like we are majestical because of speaking English, because of being confident, not like the way they are. So those are challenges that we face always. And we don't give up. We just listen to them and we just do our things. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Yes.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda, and it's really lovely to be on this call. And Laura, thank you so much. And girls, I am blown away by you two. I really am. I tell you, just my mind went back to when a young lady who graduated in 2018, so 2 years before you did, arrived in Africa with another one of the young ladies. And I can only imagine what you two must have been thinking when you landed in Boston, and what on earth, my goodness, what a culture shock, and what an education just being here for these weeks themselves. But what struck me by both of you is not just that you've actually been, you're really quite sophisticated young ladies, grown-up young ladies, and your English is staggeringly good, I think.
Thank you.
I read so many of the letters that come from the school, for whichever class I'm helping with, and I can see how they improve every year. They get better and better, but hard push to get as good as you two. So I just congratulate you, and I hope you take away this amazing experience, and the best possible wishes to both of you at university.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I second that.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Lori.
I would just like to say how much I admire your courage. What you're doing is so hard. It takes so much courage day to day, and confidence and empathy to understand the way other people look at you, look up to you, the example that you set. It's just extraordinary. And it's wonderful to see. It makes me hopeful. I'm sorry. It makes me hopeful, not just for your futures, but in a broader way. And it makes me very grateful for the work that you have done for years and will continue to do, and the difference that you're making in so many lives. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Louise. Yeah.
So I have a question. Oh,
Yes.
sorry. Go ahead, Tracy.
No, go on, Matt. That's all right.
I'm just wondering, Deborah and Zainab, what has been your favorite part of your experience so far in the U.S.?
Oh,
Laura's ready.
Okay. So we have been moving to different places, but the place that I loved the best, and I think it was good, it was in Washington, D.C. We had a chance to go to the White House, and we went to the West Wing, and we saw so many things in the museum. So it was something that was something like very, very worth to me. I loved it because so many people wished to get into the White House, but we are lucky to go there. So I was really, really happy to get into the White House. Yeah.
What about you?
For me, what I can say is, I love the people of here. Are very kind. They have, I can say they have good heart, like helping hearts. They help us. And I love different places. I love New York. I like the people there are very busy. Yeah, I know it's crazy city, but people are so busy. I like that kind of life. And also I loved Florida. It was warm and we had different things, like we went to the beach. So I love it. Also, I love Washington, D.C. As my friend Deborah said, we went to White House and we went to the West Wing, which I know most of the people would want to go. Then they didn't get the chance, but we got it. And also, I love Boston. I love everywhere in US.
And they haven't even been to San Francisco yet. So, Angela, we're going to have to, we have a tall order after all this touring around.
Yeah, I just got my oil changed so that we're ready to do a lot of driving. That always seems to happen in California. So
ready
I
for
look
us.
forward to meeting both of you again and spending some time with you. So
Thank you. Yeah, it's been quite a tour, and it's been great, like all the places that they mentioned. And yeah, we've been, after moving around so much for the first week and a half, we've tried to relax a little in Boston. We've gone apple picking, and they've been on a duck boat tour, and we went to the aquarium, and so we went to Cape Cod, so they got to see a really cold beach after being in Florida. So it's been a lot of fun. And so anybody else? Naomi, you're gonna have to come back to SEGA because it's changed quite a bit since you've been there. Oh wait, you're on mute.
I can see from the pictures, the guest house and all that, is quite different from 10 years ago. When I was there, the volunteer facilities were just being finished. Nothing had been planted. In fact, we planted the first flowers around so it's just wonderful to hear these students. When I was there, I taught O-level English.
Okay.
And the picture, there was a picture in one of your slides of two students I taught outside of, I think, St. Joseph's or something college.
Oh yeah, that is an old picture, right?
Yeah. I can't remember their names, but
Rahema is one of them, I think. Rahema Choga, yeah.
Yeah, I taught both of them. So it's very nostalgic to hear about all this, but the progress is wonderful, and I salute you too. I mean, you're on an amazing journey, and you should be really, really proud of yourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I know a lot of you know about our different programs, but of course we have English Fluency right now. That we have about 12 volunteers on campus. We just had our 11th graduation last Saturday. So we'll share the link to that when the recording is out. But I think it was a really fun day with a great guest of honor who is former Ambassador Liberata Mulamula. And she is a current member of parliament. in Tanzania. So she was there. And of course, we have the STEM program, which Ozo here was there with us in July and helped teach STEM. And we'll run that again next year. So please help spread the word. We always love to get lots of new volunteers for these programs and to visit in general.
I found myself last Saturday feeling really quite emotional, realizing, makes me tears come to my eyes, realizing graduation, that amazing ceremony was happening again. So
Yeah.
it's an experience I will never forget, getting to
Yeah.
it.
And Matt just put something in the chat about our video. I know a lot of you have seen the video, but we have a newer video for some of you who haven't. So there's a link there. You can also find it on our website, but it actually, it helps to bring everything to life. So if you haven't seen it, please take a look at it. And so unless anybody else has any other questions, yeah, thank you so much for joining. It's great.
When are the girls going home?
They're leaving here, my house. Lori's my neighbor and friend. And on Sunday morning, we go to California and then we'll go to Philly and then they fly out from Philly. So they won't be back in Boston, but they return to Tanzania on the 22nd of October.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. And thank you, Cindy and Judy, for joining too. And I know Cindy's going to catch up. Cindy was a longtime volunteer. She's going to catch up with the girls in about an hour or half hour. And so we'll talk a little bit more with her soon. But thank you so much. Happy International Day of the Girl. Ozo wants to know when we're in Philly. So we're in Philly. We fly in on the Friday, I think that's the 20th, and there is a gathering that Jane Naimunga is sort of hosting a luncheon on October 21st. If you can come, Ozo, please come. It would be great.
And
right.
I'll see you on Sunday.
And we'll see you on Sunday. Okay.
Thank you.
all
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, girls, and happy
Bye.
International Day of the Girl.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.